welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's a match preview of West Ham United against Brentford. The international break is over and done with. It's back to the Premier League. I'll let you decide if that's a good thing or a bad thing, though. Might depend on who you support. Gonzo, can you kick us off, as always, with your thoughts on Brentford, please?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, really, with Brentford. I can't quite decide whether they've been brave. I know that much. I think they were really brave with their decision to appoint from within after Thomas Frank, who I believe himself was appointed from within, wasn't he? Yeah. But it's a very, very different risk when you're lower down in the football pyramid to doing it in the Premier League. So I think it's a far braver decision to do it now. I think it's even braver to do it when you're going to lose Mbeumo and you're going to lose WHUBRE. And I don't want to overly praise them at the moment. I know they got a good win against Manchester United, and the 1-0 loss, wasn't it, to Manchester City was highly praised, because I think they were a better team in the second half, and it was a slender glender defeat, wasn't it, in that sense? But they are still where they are, which is better than us, make no mistake about it. But I think they're down in 16th. They've, I think the last 5 have lost 3, drawn 1-1-1. So I don't know. The truth of the matter is I don't know how wise it's going to be, but I think it was a brave decision to make the appointment. They seem to be very direct. They counter-attack, throw-ins, that type of thing, and in many respects probably haven't strayed too far away from what Thomas Frank's original mandate might have been. But we'll see. We'll see. I think if they can survive this season, it will be quite incredible, really, because WHUBRE and Mbeumo were sensational, and of course they lost their fella Norgard to Arsenal as well. So. Yeah, a big overhaul. To lose your manager and lose 3 such important players, and then actually not be rooted to the bottom of the Premier League, I think is incredibly impressive, actually.
I thought you said you weren't going to praise them. I think you've ended up praising them, but I think they're worthy of it, though. I think they're completely worthy of it, because when the news came out it was going to be Keith Andrews, I think if it was 18 clubs in the Premier League, and the only 2 I'm not including are Brentford and Brighton, I'd have went, you what? You're promoting your set-piece coach to the head coach role? What is going on here? Are you sure about this? That sounds like a bad idea. But because it was Brentford, you thought, if any club's got this right, promoting the set-piece coach to the head coach, it's them. If any club knows what they're doing, it's them. So there was a bit of me that thought, well, there's obviously what feels like madness. There's obviously a lot of method in this. And I remember doing a little bit of digging. And when Keith Andrews was first announced at Brentford as the set-piece coach, the article was it was basically, this is a coach we've had our eye on for quite some time. We believe he's got everything to make it as a top coach. And we're going to start him off as a set-piece coach. It was basically like, we want Keith Andrews. We just don't know where to put him, so we're going to give him the set piece coach role, and hopefully that sort of gets him up and running. And I'd imagine it's maybe came a little bit too soon for Brentford. I'd imagine he was someone that they had their eye on in terms of that succession planning, but to replace Thomas Frank is big shoes to fill, and might have come a year or 2 a bit earlier than they would have liked. And they appointed him, they looked elsewhere and decided they were going to get him, but I still didn't think it was too wild. However, because Brentford the way I see it, Brentford are such a well-oiled machine. The head coach essentially is, and don't get me wrong, a big cog, but he's a cog in a well-run machine. So you take that out.
Yeah.
As long as you can put in the right size cog, you'll be all right, because the rest of it is still fine. It's not like West Ham. The head coach goes, everything goes. We once sacked our manager, and they picked up the book of all the scouting work they'd done and left with it, right? So not only did we lose the manager and the coaching staff, we lost everything we'd done in the previous 18 months in terms of scouting players. That went out the door with them as well. We had nothing. We had no player recruitment team, no scouting team, nothing. Brentford aren't like that. But my worry...
You need a tiny cock, don't you, basically?
You need a massive cocks.
Yeah.
So my worry, though, was it wasn't just that cog they were replacing. Like you said, Mbomo left, Wissa left, Nortgaard, the captain, left. Thomas Frank took 3 coaches with him, I think, which doesn't sound much in the grand scheme of things. But I think if I was going to remain confident, Brentford would be okay. I think them remaining there would have been part of that. Saying, well, they've still got the same team. It's just a different person leading them now. And it just felt a little bit too much change at once for my liking. So not only was it, can you replace the head coach? It was, can you replace the captain? Can you replace the goals? Can you replace the creativity? Can you replace the midfielder? And there was a lot of things they had to do. But so far, they're looking okay. I have to be honest. The more I hear Keith Andrews speak, the more I like him. He impresses me in interviews. I do like it. And I found myself rooting for him as much as Brentford. Now, I use that loosely due to where West Ham find themselves in the league table. So at the minute, I do consider us both to be sort of relegation rivals, if you like. So for that aspect, I hope they struggle. But if we were sitting 12th and we weren't going to get relegated this season, I hope Brentford stay up. Because what they've done, I think, deserves to almost be rewarded to some extent. They're not just chucking money at it, but they've got a long-term plan, a long-term vision. They know what they're doing, and they're sticking to it as well. That's a club with an identity, but that's a club with belief in their identity as well. And I like that. I've got a lot of time and respect for Brentford in the way they run as well. So I hope it sort of yields relative success for them. The big question, I guess, Gonzo, is do you think it will? Do you think they'll stay up, or have you had to put money on 3 to go down now? Would Brentford be one of that trio?
Well, they wouldn't be one of the trio. They'd be one of the 5 or 6, certainly. Yeah. Of which, so are we, obviously. Wolves, Forest, Burnley, Leeds, Sheffield.
Sheffield?
I don't know. No, they're already.
I've got bad news, Gonzo. There's one last team in the relegation battle.
Yeah. The other Sheffield
Sunderland,
team. Sunderland, yeah.
Sheffield Black Cats.
And the Sheffield Black Cats. They're brilliant. Look, they both play in red and white stripes, don't they? Crikey, I'm getting on. They're So I think they're in the group of teams that could struggle. There's no doubt about that. And everything I said at the start, I don't look at it. I think they've overcome that. They've overcome losing Wissa and Mbuemo and losing their manager and Nortgaard and all the rest of it. But I like the way they went in and they got Gallagher early, didn't they? And sorted the goalkeeper situation out very, very early in the window, which I think is a very sensible thing to do as well. So they got Katara from Bournemouth as well, didn't they? Have I got that right? Yeah, I always thought was a decent enough player. So. But not. I know he's not started, but not in Mbuemo and Wissa sort of caliber. But they're big names to lose, really. And I think they in themselves had sort of bolstered the club after they lost Ivan Toney, who was obviously such a big player for them, really. So one thing I do know is with funny enough, another Sheffield-based team who play in red and white stripes, Southampton, is you can't keep selling players all the time and then expect to stay up. Eventually it will catch up with you. So yes, they're definitely in with a risk of going down, definitely.
I agree. I think they're in the conversation. I think that the teams you've named there are the ones that I think they'll be in the conversation for majority of the season as well. I think Katara, quite expensive, but what I will say is I agree he's not the same level as Mbomo and Wissa, but Mbomo and Wissa weren't at the level they are today when Brentford signed them, if that makes sense. So that is what they do. They bring them in young, they bring them in cheaper. Well, I say cheaper, they spent over 40 million on him, but they improve them. They grow them as players and they go on to become better players. Like Shada at the minute, I seen him linked the other day to Spurs now for 60 odd million or something like that. And I'm pretty sure he will be the next big sale to come out of Brentford. But I also feel quite confident they'll know who the next big signing at Brentford is already, regardless of what happens with the other players in the team. Speaking about one of them, players you admire?
Well, obviously, Shardy, you just mentioned, he obviously scored against us last season, didn't he? So he's really good. I liked Damsgaard as well. But I think Henderson might be decent business for them, actually. I think that might be a Might be a shrewd signing. Yeah. Listen, they've got. I do think they're better than the sum of their parts, actually. And funny enough, I just have Collins on my fantasy football game, which we've started playing recently. So yeah, but I don't want him to do. I'm going to drop him from the team for this one because obviously they're going to lose 5-0.
Thiago, he's a player that's impressed me a lot. I've been looking forward to watching him actually because of that faith, confidence I have in Brentford. When they signed him last summer to replace Ivan Toney, essentially, it was like, right, okay, he's obviously good. But then he just got injured. He was out for the season, came back towards the very end of it, but it was almost like a fitness thing. So this season, like, right, let's see who this guy is. He looks good. I like him a lot. He's pretty quick, very strong, quite clinical as well. There's a lot I like about Thiago up front. Shad, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the league. I think Collins is a really good centre-back as well. And the two fullbacks are the two I'm going to pick out also. Coyote, I think, has been brilliant when he went in there. I don't mind saying I never heard of him when he rocked up in January. And then in the first couple of games, Ayer was still playing right back. And I thought, bloody hell, it can't be that bad that Ayer continues playing. Then he got into the team, stayed in the team, signed him in a permanent. His long throws are just ridiculous. But I really like his style of play from that right back position. Then hopefully he's injured for this game. My boy, Aaron Hickey, it's good to see him back. 2 years he's been out. But I do think when fit and on form, he's a top player. I absolutely love him to bits. He's just injury prone, the most injury prone player you can get, unfortunately. He had half a good break with Scotland. He played the first game, an important game, but he got injured in it and went, oh, right, okay, there's a story of Aaron Hickey for you. But there was a little bit of me thought, oh no, he's injured. Oh no, Hickey's injured again. Then I thought, hang on a minute, he might be out for our game against Brentford on Monday. A little bit torn on that one, conflict of opinions. Shall we talk about West Ham?
Yes.
Shall we start with some team news?
Yes, please.
Well, before we do that, I just want to point you. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you get annoyed when there's something available to watch in a different country, but you can't watch it? You know it's on in a different country. You know people in that country are watching it, and you want to watch it, but you can't because of where you live. I'll tell you what, it gets right on my tits. Do you wish your device had a feature that would allow you to change the location of your device? Not literally, not posting it, but you push a button and your device goes, I'm now in the country over there. I can watch what they're watching. Well, I did. I got Surfshark. Now I do. That's my favorite feature of Surfshark. It's probably not the biggest benefit. The biggest benefit is that security protection it gives you electronic devices. But I don't know how that works, truth be told. But I do know how changing the geolocation on your device works. You go on the app, you change the location, you pick the country you want your device to appear in, you click the button, and your device sort of teleports to that country immediately. Already you can
You're in Spain.
Yeah, you can
get the suntan lotion out.
Yeah, hola. So there you go. Simple as that. We've got an offer for you. Don't worry, we got you. Hammers Chat have got your back. We've always got your back on here. We've got some good offers for you. We've got a good offer for you.
Sun cream in your back.
No sun cream on your back, but we do give you 4 months free. It's simple. Go to surfshark.com/Hammers Chat. Link is in the description below and the pinned comments. The offer is already applied to your basket. When you click the link, it's already there. It's already activated the 4 months for you. All you have to do is pick the plan that you want. You will get 4 months free. Then you can use features like changing location. Plus, you only need one account for unlimited devices, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you give it a go, and after a couple of weeks, you think, I don't like this, I don't want it, Gondor's not turned up to put suntan lotion on my back, I don't like it, that's all right. You go into Surfshark, close your account, say you want your refund, job done. What are you chucking money at people for?
I'm giving them their money back.
Wow.
Metaphorically, I make a visual representation of you getting your money back.
I thought you were to like chuck it into my panties or something.
That's on the Patreon video, Gio.
It's £10. That's double my usual rate.
Say, you have to pay me money if you're going to do that bloody dance. Whatever the opposite is of aroused, that's happening.
You'll definitely want a 30-day money back guarantee. 3-minute money back guarantee.
Yes.
Right. The team news is myself and Gonzo are going nowhere. Nicholas Fulkrug is unavailable for Nuno. He's out for a few weeks, according to the boss. George Earthy is also still unavailable. However, it's good news for Nuno as Thomas Souček is back, and we're just assuming that Jean-Claire Todibo is available and James Ward-Prowse is available if he wishes. So for the sake of the preview, Gonzo, you're allowed to use or pick anyone bar Fulkrug and George Earthy. And just a reminder for everyone, or to alert anyone that's new, this is the team that myself and Gonzo want to see, not the team that we think Nuno will play. However, there is maybe a small chance that I'll pick the same team as Gonzo and Nuno will pick the team that we want to see, I think.
He ain't picking my team, neither are you.
Well, we might not be far off. Because I don't think there's that many options.
Right.
I think some of them are picking themselves for Monday night. So would you like to talk me through your goalkeeper and your defence, please?
Yes, despite what you said about Mads Hermansson, I will pick Areola to remain in goal. He's carry-on punching. He's going to have to, which is probably the worst of the carry-on films, actually. But with the set-piece stuff and all the rest of it and Brentford being good at them, I'd carry on. I'd keep that as stable as we possibly can. Obi-Wan-Bissaka at right-back and keep Mavropanos and Kilman as the two central defenders. And keep Juve. I think he had a tough time against Arsenal, but that's Arsenal, and I think that's about as tough as it's going to get for him this season. Touch wood. Honestly, I think he'd find it even. I even think playing against Mo Salah would probably be easier for him than playing against Arsenal the way they played. So yeah, the back five remain the same.
Yeah, I completely agree. Areola's done nothing wrong. In fact, he's actually been all right under Nuno, so he keeps the gloves on merit now, as far as I'm concerned. I thought Walker Peters could consider himself unlucky to be dropped for Arsenal. I understand the reasons why. Wan-Bissaka played all right. He wasn't great, but I thought he looked rusty. I'm hoping he's shaking that off a little bit, and we see last season's Wan-Bissaka, but it certainly wasn't a bad performance from him at the Emirates. Mavropanos, much to my pleasure, he had a stinky international break. We benefited from that a lot. He wasn't great for the first goal, and the second goal that we scored against Greece, he ducked out the way, and Ferguson scored off the back of it. So massive thank you to Mavropanos, because now we've got a chance of going to the World Cup. One of Scotland's best players during the international break.
Brilliant.
Mick Mavropanos, that's his
name.
Yeah.
Mavropanos, I like it. Like his surname wasn't long enough, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to keep Kilman in there just because he's actually been good under Nuno, but also there's no alternative I want to see. And Juve, I completely agree. He's got to play through it. I think it's a good education for him playing against Arsenal. Moving into midfield, I think he's got two big decisions. I think he's got one in midfield and he's got one up front. So what would you like to see in midfield?
I'm going to play Souček next to Fernandes in there. I think he needs the height. I don't think anyone else. Well, unless he's put them in tomato grow bags, I don't think anyone else is going to have gained any height. And a lot of things happen into the international break, but probably height is not one of them. So yeah, I'm bringing Souček back in to play in the middle.
I know you're going to have Paqueta in the number 10 sort of role.
I am. Yes, I am. Yeah. It might be his final shot. That's it.
That's a bold call. I'm worried about the lack of protection for the defence. And I know what people will say. I know what you perhaps might say, which is it's only Brentford. And I get it.
That's not even what I was thinking.
Okay, then why are you not worried about the protection for the defence?
Well, I am. That's why I'm putting Souček in there so he can head the ball away.
But what about on the deck?
Well, let's be fair, Magassa's not been great. I don't think we're losing. I don't think I'm dropping our best player to put Souček in there. Also, I feel like I'm putting someone in there that can defend set pieces and be a match winner, actually.
Fair enough. I think a lot of people might agree with you. I don't know. The idea of Souček and Fernandes worries me a little bit. I think Fernandes showed against Arsenal defensively is pretty crap. Now, I do think this is a completely different game against Brentford. And I expect us to have more of the ball. And I think the onus is going to be on us to go create something. But I think if you have Souček on the pitch, and I agree, the set piece things and having that height will be beneficial. But I think if you have Souček on the pitch, you want to get him into the box. And if you're going to play him next to Fernandes, I don't think he's going to have the license to get into Brentford's box and try and get on the end of crosses. I would stick with Magassa for this one. I think he's had a a bit of a tough welcome to the Premier League and to West Ham, if you like. I think he's been chucked in the deep end a little bit. I think ideally you would sort of ease him into the team, and it's sort of Nuno's come in and went, there you go, cope with it. And I think he's done all right. I think he grew into the game against Everton, and I was impressed by what I've seen by the end of the match. Not for the first 20 minutes or so, but by the end of it, I was happy. Against Arsenal, I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he was great. I just find it a difficult game. And by the way, that applies to pretty much everyone. I think
sure.
Magassa wasn't great. I thought Paqueta was worse, and I thought Fernandes was worse. I actually thought Magassa was no worse than the other two in midfield against Arsenal. So I would give him another opportunity against Brentford, and I too would have Fernandes and Paqueta in midfield alongside him. I suspect we're going to choose the same wingers, so I'll let you do the honours.
Well, I suspect we're not. Rusty Wan-Bissaka might get the right back spot, but the right wing is going to go to Rusty Walker-Peters.
You're winding me up.
I'm not winding you up.
Right wing against Brentford, you're going to play Walker-Peters.
I'm going to play Walker-Peters.
For what?
Well, so I was like to play Jared Bowen on the left wing and James Ward-Prowse up front, for goodness sake. What else do you think? No.
Well, I know it's to get Bowen up front then.
Yeah, that's why, yes.
But why Walker-Peters?
Because I think he's more reliable than Luis Guilherme. I think you get the double defensive stuff on the right hand side. That's terrible. You can't make that's going to be the thumbnail now. You doing that? Look at that.
It's not. We've got a
template. Screenshot that, everyone. Screenshot that.
You can't have Walker-Peters.
I can do what I want. Thank you. I'm the manager of West Ham United for the purposes of this video. Stick your hand back over your face and let me continue with my team. So Jared Bowen up front, and and obviously.
Well, Bowen's not expecting any service from the right hand side.
Hold on a minute. Rusty Wan-Bissaka and Walker-Peters, no problem. They can manage
for
it.
Brentford, that's the issue.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing in this one. Bowen up front. Somerville on the left. Bob's your uncle.
What I will say is that he's got to do something, right? There's no obvious answer here. There isn't an answer that feels that's the one, right? So I will agree. He's going to have to try something, whether it's Marshall, whether it's Wilson, whether it's Paqueta, whether it's Bowen and picking someone else to go out right. Fair, but what I know I do not want to see is Kyle Walker-Peters playing right wing. I think if you are somehow going to start changing things, if I had to use your 11, I'd put Juve left wing, Walker-Peters left back, and then Somerville on the right and say, look, just supply him with your right foot. That's what I would do. So you've still got, I appreciate Juve now playing, but I think he's the better out there. Three fullbacks on your team. I think he's the better going forward. I've gone Bowen on the right, Somerville on the left, and Marshall up front. I think if there's a game Wilson might work from the start, it's this type of game where we should have more of the ball. We should be higher up the pitch. We should be able to get Bowen closer to Callum Wilson. But I just have little desire to witness it. So I think I'd give Marshall the opportunity and say, this is it. Go create yourself a moment, get that goal, become a bit of a hero. And I'll tell you what, if we win the game and Marshall scores, exactly, the first thing I'd be saying to him is, get on social media and just look at what they're saying. Everyone will be buzzing. He'll be held up like he's just scored the winner in the World Cup. Seeing a player from our academy score a goal.
His face put on Graham Potter or something, wouldn't he?
He might get Uno reverse card being played by West Ham.
It's true.
He might be doing his interview after the game saying, "Yeah, I was very fortunate to be playing up front with Walker-Peters whipping it in."
Absolutely. That's what's going to happen.
Me and Kyle have got a good understanding.
Yeah, I can see it now.
And I'm very, very thankful to Maximilian Hans for bringing me to West Ham while he was still at Werder Bremen.
It's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a team. Myself and Gonzo, we didn't match after all that. No. You were confident we didn't know.
I was confident because I know you're not on the same tactical wavelength as me. So you see when he picks this, I reckon Nuno probably watched this video, and I reckon he'll think, hold on,
if he does, right, and we get beat, you're not allowed to complain about the lack of attacking options we had in the team.
Hold on, no, hold on. If he picks my team and we get beat, I can't complain, if that's what you're saying. Yes. But if he picks my team and we win, I can gloat.
Yeah,
Got a really big thumbnail video of how I got it right on West Ham's tactics, with all a big font and everywhere, and like arrows pointing on the thumbnail.
I mean, if that happens, so we're going to lose our second member of Hammer's Chat to Analytics YouTube channel.
Have you signing me up?
Just be me here going, if only I said Walker Peters.
They never saw it. They didn't see it coming. Nobody else had thought of it, probably for very good reason. Yeah, because it won't work. Yeah,
I missed my opportunity. Yeah. Right, before we ask Gonzo how he's feeling ahead of the game, obviously very confident if he's sticking Walker Peters right wing. I just want to tell you about our Patreon.
Yes.
And the reason I want to do that is because we do a prediction competition for every single game. You predict the score and the first goal scorer of the match, and we drawn our winners today. So I just want to say a massive well done to Colin, who won this signed Paulo Di Canio photo.
Looks like Paolo's just my team.
He won. He tends to see Walker Peters right wing.
Yeah.
He's won that because he pays £3.60 a month, and he correctly predicted the right score and scorer for the Arsenal game. We also need to say a well done to Dave, who is a mild addict, and he correctly predicted the score and the scorer from the Everton game, and he's won himself a signed Paulo Di Canio captain's armband. And we also had a winner from the Crystal Palace game, but because the winner was an addict, basically,
we don't mean a drug addict. We mean he's a top tier on Patreon. Yeah,
he's in a top tier, and the prizes are related to which tier you subscribe to. So if Colin was a Hammer's Chat addict, he would have won a greater prize than the signed photo. Now Fritz won the Crystal Palace one, and because he's subscribed, he has won a signed Jared Bowen shirt. But not only that, he's also won a signed Jared Bowen photo. So Fritz gets 2 prizes because he's an addict. If you fancy getting involved, if you thinking, I want a bit of this prediction competition, I want to win signed prizes, we're giving away hundreds of pounds worth of prizes just there alone. 3 games, hundreds of prizes. Plus, I think pretty confident Fritz lives in America. Therefore, does he not?
I don't think so.
That's
the Fritz I'm thinking of.
I
know if it's the Fritz I'm thinking of.
I don't know. I thought he did for some reason. Anyway, if he did, we've got page postage as well. But you can join up by going to patreon.com/Hammer's Chat. Links in description below, links in pinned comments, or you just Google Hammer's Chat Patreon and it'll be the top result. You, in return from joining up from £3.60 per month, you get loads of video content, plus you can enter prediction competitions for every single game. Gonzo, how's your fruitiness for this one?
Very fruity. You can go and check that out on Patreon as well. I'm feeding apples to cows, balls, actually. It's another bonus. Didn't expect that. I am feeling... Actually, I'm not feeling fruity at all. I'm just feeling a little bit silly today. No, I think it's going to be a boring old game, actually.
A big game, though.
It is a very, very important game. Very important game. Yeah, this is a must-not-lose game. It's not must win because it is relatively early in the season, but it's ticking on. The season is ticking away. There's all the excuses are there for Everton, which was a real bonus point, and to lose to Arsenal, all the excuses are there. I guess there's probably excuses to lose to Brentford, but we don't have the capacity. We don't have the wriggle room to allow them. We need to start getting points now. This is it. We are now into a run of games where we have to start picking up points. Before this video, I'd spent 10, 15 minutes reading about Brentford and reading what people were saying about them and all the rest of it. And they get a lot of plaudits for the way they played against Manchester City and a lot for, their win against Manchester United and all the rest of it. But they are still 16th in the league. Yes, they can throw a lovely ball, but you do have to kick it most of the time. So it's they are there. They've lost their manager. They've lost a lot of their players. If we start looking for reasons to fear every team, then almost all of them have reasons to worry. And you can almost make a case for West Ham getting wins against nobody because pretty much everybody is above us. So we have to start beating these teams. We've got to shift our mindset back up to that of a mid-table team, which we're not, and start looking at these as winnable games. Okay. Okay, we lose against Arsenal. Draw at Hill Dickinson Stadium may turn out at the end of the season to be a good point. But we need to get points now. We need to get points on the board, and we need to start making people like Brentford, people like Nottingham Forest, and other teams worry about us. We need to create over the next 3 or 4 games a situation where almost we build a little bit of confidence that we're going to claw our way out of it, and we're not part of that conversation. That's what we have to do now. It's big for Nuno. He's got his, like you said in your video when you did the video about the coaching staff. This is a big test for him now. He's going to do it. He's going to have to do this the hard way. We could really do with a win, and the springboard and the confidence it would give everybody. I'm just talking about fans here, but what it would do for the players would be huge as well. He's come in, he's said a lot of the right things. I think he's done a lot of the right things as well. If we could get a win, everyone would feel just so much better about everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I will say I'm inclined to call it a must-win game. I appreciate what you're saying because it's match day 8, so it feels a bit silly labeling it up as that so early on in the season. But I completely agree with what you said there, and this is going to sound disrespectful to Brentford, but there's no way of saying this without it coming across as that, even though I don't mean it to. We have to be winning this type of game. Because one thing that frustrates me, I mean, managers' press conferences are always quite generic now, and they just say the same thing. They come out with a load of cliches. And one of the things that really pisses me off is when they say, every game in the Premier League's hard. Or they'll say, oh, it's a difficult fixture. They're a good team. Well, yeah. But if I was a journalist, I'd say, well, which one isn't? Which game isn't hard, right? You're almost setting yourself up. Well, if we don't win, it's because it's a hard fixture. Okay, well, which games are you going to target as winnable? Which games do you think you're going to win then? And this is one of them. If you said to Nuno, you need to win 10 games to stay up, which is, I think he needs to win 9. We've already got 1 win. You need to win 9 games to stay up. What ones do you think they're most likely to be? This would be one of the ones he picks out. I feel quite confident. He'd pick out Burnley, he'd pick out Brentford, he'll pick out Wolves. He'll pick out the teams we mentioned earlier on in the relegation battle. That's the ones you'll pick out at home and try and win 1, draw 1 away from home, depending on who they are. We don't win against Brentford. We almost have to go to Ellen Road and win. We beat Brentford. A draw at Ellen Road becomes a good result. 4 points from those 2 games is what we have to be targeting here. Because if we agree that you need a point per game to stay up this season, you don't have to, but I think that's what it's going to take. 38 points, you should be all right.
I agree.
So we now need to get 7 points from our next 4 games, which is Burnley at home, Newcastle at home, Leeds away, Brentford at home in reverse order. So 7 points is quite a lot to get. 2 wins and a draw from 4 is not easy. That would put us on 11 points from 11 games. That's us only just hitting what we need to be doing. And this set of fixtures contains easier fixtures than what we've played and also what's ahead as well. We have to win on Monday night. We absolutely have to, because while we're all looking for teams that we can finish above, and things will change a lot. There might be a team that we're not even talking about for relegation might suddenly plummet down the table. It might be that one of the teams we have mentioned that come Christmas are sitting 10. But where we sit right now, Brentford is one of the teams we're looking at, thinking we need to finish above them.
Yep.
Because out of the 6 or 7 teams we've mentioned, we've got to finish above 3 of them. At least. That's a bare minimum. Otherwise, we're getting relegated.
For sure.
We have to win on Monday. We absolutely have to win. I feel optimistic. I don't feel confident. I'm a little bit worried. I actually feel a little bit nervous for this game because it feels like it does carry quite a weight of importance. And I know that if we lose, the fans are going to get blamed by the mainstream media. I think the knives have already been sharpened. The guns already been loaded with bullets. And if we lose, it'll be like, well, how is the team meant to perform when the stadium's half empty because the fans are boycotting it? I just know that the story will be it's the fans' fault. It won't be Nuno's fault. It won't be the players' fault. It'll be pointed at the fan base. And it'll be, that's the reason West Ham have lost on Monday night. If we win, though, you can't really say that. If there's another boycott later on in the season, and we lose that, you can't really say that because we can point at Brentford and go, well, we won that one. So what's the thing? There's evidence there. It's an important game. It's a big game. It's an important one for Nuno. I think it's a more important game for the players because they've got away with it a little bit. Because Lopetegui and Potter were quite disliked, especially by the end of their tenure. They've got off. Some of them have got off with playing crap for over a year now. They need to buck up their ideas and they need to show it on Monday night that it was the manager's fault. Because if you don't perform under one manager, fine, it can be the manager's fault. You don't perform under two managers, you don't perform under three consecutive managers. Sorry, I struggle to believe it's the manager here. It's you.
No chance.
So they need to buck up their ideas on Monday. They need to go out there and they need to perform for each other, perform for the badge, perform for the fans, and they need to perform for Nuno. And we need to get 3 points. It's as simple as that. Gonzo, any final words in your all-important score prediction, please?
Yeah, just quickly. I know we've done lots of plugs, but a little plug for a friend here who's basically now managing the Bat and Ball, which is in Westfield. So if you're going to go and protest, but then you're going to boycott and you want to watch the game near the stadium, the Bat and Ball are playing it, basically. They've got the game on the screens. It's basically being run by West Ham fans. So go in there, go and watch the game. Good grub, good beer. What you're going to watch, I think, Gio, is going to be a 0-0 draw, actually. And I wish I could say something a little bit more upbeat than that. What did you have me down as? I'd love it. I'd love a 1-0 win. I'd love a 1-0 win. I really would.
What do you think my prediction is?
That.
How do you know that?
Well, because you've written it down.
Yeah, that is my prediction. It's my prediction for your prediction, but it's also my prediction. Yeah. I think if we can keep them out at set pieces, their long throws concern me a lot. I think their long throws worry me more than corners for some reason. If we can find a way of dealing with that, and Nuno speaks about it quite a lot, and I'm pleased with that because I think I've seen a quote during the week, and it's one of them. I just pray that this quote is real, and I'm not just being mugged off by the written press here. It was something along the lines of, I'm not focusing too much on the offence at the minute because we need to sort out defensively and they've been conceding too much from set pieces. And whilst I agree with half of it, I still disagree that we need to be focusing on the attack. We didn't have a shot on target against Arsenal. That needs sorted out. And I'm willing to say it's because it's Arsenal, but I can only say that if we are maybe not bombarding the Brentford goal, but certainly carrying a threat worthy of winning the game, right? You do that, then we can write the Arsenal one off and put it down to it Arsenal. So I'm pleased that he's focusing on that defensive side of it and trying to make us better in that regards. And I think he will. And I think you might see Souček come back in because we've lost
I think so.
The height of Fulkrug. I think he's going to want to replace that. And I think Souček is the answer because Wilson doesn't really carry it. Marshall certainly does not. So I think Souček's the way of getting more height into the team without ripping up what you've done and just moving bits on the board, if you like. I'm going to go 1-0 West Ham, though I don't know why. Just a little bit of blind optimism, maybe. I like what I've seen against Everton under Nuno.
Yep.
And I appreciate Brentford. I'll say we've got Shadow, we've got Thiago, and that's true, but I'm not a Brentford fan. I'm a West Ham fan. And we've got Jared Bowen. So that's why I think when he's in the team, he's not been playing that well this season, but he's still been scoring goals. If we can get him playing well, we'll get him scoring and assisting goals. And that can be enough sometimes to get you 3 points. So
particularly with Walker Peters there.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this preview, you know what to do. Please do drop a like on it. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. If you fancy supporting Hammers Chat, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Hammers Chat. It's from £3.60 per month. And that's the final price. That includes tax, VAT, whatever one it is that gets added on. That's on there. So it's £3 per month without that 20% getting popped on there. Less than £1 a week, and it helps keep the lights on at Hammers Chat. So thank you very much for support. Myself and Gonzo. We'll catch you in a bit.